All right, well, welcome back to the homestead. And I bought something that I was not planning to buy, but it was a smoking deal. And here we have a compact Kubota L3400 hydrostatic drive, four-wheel drive with the front loader. So this is a really nice tractor, so I just couldn't pass it up. Guy I know was getting rid of it, moving to Florida, and regardless of whether I keep it or not, it's worth a lot more than what he was asking for it. So I don't know. Here's the decision I have to make. Do I want to keep this, or do I want to keep the 60 horse M6040 Kubota? So L3400 compact tractor, or an M6040, I don't know what you'd even call this, midsize or utility size tractor. Regardless, let's talk a little bit about this one, because I've already talked about this one in some of my previous videos, but I do want to compare the differences so that you guys can kind of understand the decision that I have to make. So obviously, much smaller frame tractor, much narrower, not as tall. This one fits in the garage. That's a good plus of this one. This one fits in the garage, but you got to watch the doors and stuff, and make sure the doors are all the way up. What's the other differences? Obviously the horsepower. So this one has 25 less engine horsepower than this one, but this one being shuttle shift, it's still kind of a hydrostatic transmission, but you don't lose quite as much horsepower as the hydrostat does. Gear transmissions are the most efficient. You lose probably 5 to 10% with hydrostatic drive, which, you know, it adds up, but the hydrostatic is very, very handy. You can hop on here, you can start the tractor, let the clutch out, I'm in gear. So this has high, medium, and low. It has 3 speeds, which is pretty cool. This is your cruise control. But all you do is hit this pedal either forward or backward on a hydrostatic drive tractor, and that is what moves you. So you can keep it right in gear, you can hop off of it, you can hop back on it, hit the forward, hit the reverse, and it's just really handy, especially for bucket work. It's more similar to what I would describe how a skid steer works. Move the handle forward to go forward, backward to go backward. Very fluid, great for bucket work again. The shuttle shift, very good for bucket work, I would say. Not quite as good as the hydrostatic drive. So I don't think I've ever talked about this in any of my videos. But the way the shuttle shift works, you've got your gears over here. So I've got a high and a low, or a turtle, rabbit, and then I've got my gears. We'll just put it in second gear for the sake of this. But you're gonna have to put it in forward to go forward. And every time you switch from forward to reverse, you push your clutch in. So now I want to go in reverse, and I'm in reverse. Again, pretty simple. You can do bucket work pretty easily with this. Very fluid, but it's not quite as simple as just hitting your foot forward or reverse. I would say the difference is negligible, and you get a lot more power out of something that's shuttle shift, I think, generally, than a hydrostatic drive. The hydrostatic tractors tend to be in the 15 to 50 horse range. You don't often see hydrostatic above 50 horse. I'm not really exactly sure the reason of that, but that's just the way she goes. So this particular machine has the R3 style tires on it, which is kind of a cross between your turf tires and your ag tires. My 6040 has the ag tires, obviously much more aggressive. Personally, for my most of my work and activities, I like the ag style tires. The R3s would probably suffice. Where you would notice the difference the most is if you're hauling logs out of the woods, or if you're doing heavy tillage, like trying to pull, you know, in this case a 2-bottom plow, in that case a 3-bottom plow in heavy soil. These tires are nice. Now I will say that it's nice that it came with these tires just in general, because I've had this size tractor with the turf tires on it, and when you get the turf tires from the factory, they put a different size rim on, and that rim is very difficult to get R3 or ag style tires in that dimension wheel size. So that's something to look out for. If you're buying one of these tractors and it doesn't already have, you know, R3 or ag style tires on it, make sure that you can get an ag style or R3 style tire for whatever size rim that came with that machine, that's coming with that machine. Another very obvious difference is the way this bucket attaches. So this is a pin-on bucket, and you can get a skid steer style quick attach setup for this, and then what you would have to do is cut these pin-on mounts off and weld a skid steer style plate onto this bucket to reuse this bucket with that style attachment. They run about $500, 500 to 1,000 depending on what style or what brand you get. I think it's worth every penny. I have all sorts of attachments I could use on this machine, and I wouldn't keep this machine and not add a skid steer style quick attach plate or mount to this tractor. I just wouldn't. I've got forks that I switch out all the time, and this did come with some clamp on forks, but they just aren't the same. You know, it's so much nicer to be able to flip a pin or a lever and pop these on or off anytime you need them. Now, one thing that is different on this tractor from the L3400, I've added a set of auxiliary hydraulic remotes for the front of this, so I can run a grapple. I have a momentary switch on the bucket control here, and that works very slick. I've also added lights. So, you know, there's some things that I've done to this that if I were to keep this, I would probably have to do to this to like it like I like this, or to have it as functional as this one is. The other thing I don't like about these compact tractors is a lot of them, to move your 3-point arms around, they have these turnbuckles, whereas mine, you can move them in. You pull your pin out, you move them in or out. They're telescoping, very easy to attach 3-point implements or detach for that matter. But this has what they call a quick hitch on it, and so you can back up to a piece of machinery, lower your 3-point arms, pick it up, and then you'd have a pin in here. Actually, it's right here, but this would flip back, and that would capture between your 3-point mounting brackets right here. So supposed to make it quite a bit easier to hook and unhook implements. We'll test that out here, I guess. I've never used one, and kind of interested to see how it works. I think the biggest place I would miss this is when I'm doing heavy ag, like food plots, trying to turn over a bunch of soil quickly, and brush hogging in large areas. This runs my 7-foot brush hog, absolutely no problem. I can run right along. This is probably going to be, I mean, you could probably run a 6-foot, but you're going to be crawling. You could probably run a 5-foot pretty quickly with this machine. I think that's what I used to run with my old John Deere 40 horse hydrostat. So tillage is going to probably be an issue with this, or at least take a lot longer on this machine. Now, on the flip side, if I'm pulling logs out of the woods with this, I'm probably not going to bash it off of as many trees, brush, all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to have the traction and the pulling power as that machine, but you know, it is going to fit in the woods a lot better. So pluses and minuses to everything. So you guys are probably asking how much I got this for, and I'll let you guys know the next video, I guess. This thing is just about mint. Less than 200 hours. Like I said, diesel, 4-wheel drive, hydrostatic, front loader. So I don't know if it should influence my decision at all, but this is a 200-hour tractor. That's a 2,000-hour tractor-ish. 1,900 on that. So almost 1/10, or approximately 1/10 of the hours on this machine is on that. And this one is probably very, very light duty, whereas that one I've used it. I mean, and we've done logging jobs with it. I've put in all sorts of food plots before I had it. The guy used it to do some work pulling logs out of a swampy area, he said. So I mean, that thing has definitely, it's a testament to Kubota that the thing runs as good as it does. It really has, you know, no issues. It's a very nice machine. This is just barely broken in, but again, you know, much smaller machine. So I do want to talk about what else I got with this machine that made it very much worth it to me. Got a Befco, which I've never even heard of that brand until now, but a Befco chipper shredder, and this is the real deal. I mean, it's the self-feeding drum style chipper. It's got the feed wheels in there, and so you don't want to stick your arm in there because you're going to go for a ride. But it says it takes 6-inch diameter. It seems to be in very, very good condition. It was always kept under cover. This thing has 6 drive belts, so I mean, it's got to have some decent power. And I'm probably going to go through, I'm going to check the belt slack, I'm going to check the blades, make sure they're pretty sharp still, and just obviously stuff like grease. I mean, this alone is probably worth $3 grand, maybe even more. I mean, it's a really, really, really nice unit. I've seen some of the Woodland Mills units that they make nowadays, and they're going for $3 grand, and this is a lot beefier unit. It's a better built unit, it's a better performing unit. I mean, it's just all around a better machine than what you would get from like a Woodland Mills. So I don't know, I'm definitely want to try it, see how I like it. And you know, it's a pretty cool machine. This swivels 360 degrees, but that's not it. Let's go look at what else I got. All right, so what else did I get with the tractor to sweeten the deal? Well, all this stuff. So I got a 2-bottom Dearborn plow, a couple $100 there. I mean, it's got the coulters or the sod cutters, and the mold boards are in decent condition. So probably $250 to $300 there. I've got this set of field discs. They're not transport discs, but you know, if somebody's doing food plots and stuff like that, be a nice heavy duty set of discs, get the job done. Probably $500 to $600 there. Got a Land Pride brush hog. This is a 5-foot, I believe. Yeah, 60-inch it says. So obviously very dirty and could use a coat of paint, but this thing sat outside, and I'm sure if he bought this new, like the tractor, the guy's got no fields, it's all wood. So I would be surprised if this thing had more than 15 hours on it. This unit there for somebody, probably realistically probably $700. Rhino 6-way backblade. I've never actually seen one of these. This is the first time. So it actually tilts this way, so you can actually ditch with it, and of course it tilts the other way, and then it tilts this way based on your your top link length. So you can shorten it, tilt it back this way, or lengthen it and tilt it down. So kind of like a Doja blade on the back of your tractor. Don't think I'd sell this, but I bet if I did, I could probably get I don't know, I just don't see them. I would guess $500, but I don't know. Corn planter, old 2-row. I don't know, I got to look at this and see what kind of corn planter this even is, but it needs quite a bit of parts. The seed units are both intact. Fertilizer unit, there's only one, the other one's missing. So I don't know. I mean, it's probably more of a yard decoration, or sell it for 50 bucks or 100 bucks for parts for somebody, more a decoration. But anyway, I was glad to have it. Got a 3-point cultivator here. This is handy for somebody. I don't see people use them that often anymore, but I mean, that's probably $300-400 bucks if somebody needed it. Another Land Pride back blade here. This is 6 foot, I believe. Nice back blade, very good condition, nothing wrong with it. Spins all the way around 360 degrees, which is pretty handy. And it can do that because it's so long, so you can actually get the back, so you can actually spin the blade while it's on the tractor. A lot of them, you go to spin it, it'll run into the end will run into your tire, and you can't spin it all the way around. So nice unit there. And then a York rake. This is a little bent up, but I still think this is worth a few $100 here. And then these bolt-on forks that look like they have very little use, and this would bolt on to your bucket, so that you don't have to take a bucket off or buy an extra set of forks. You can just bolt these on. You know, for somebody that doesn't use forks as often as I do, I use mine all the time, but these would be pretty nice. I don't know what these sell for new. I would guess probably $300. I could be way off, but I would say you could probably sell them for $150 to $200. And yeah, so I don't know, there's quite a bit of machinery sitting here. I think, you know, a couple grand worth anyway. This is it's a nice tractor. It's before they started going a lot lighter on stuff, and I don't know, I'd love to keep both, so we'll see. You know, I could sell this chipper shredder to offset some of the costs, but at the same time, I think this thing would be really handy and cool to keep. So I'm just not sure what I'm going to do. Some of the smaller stuff I've already started selling or listing, the stuff I just showed you guys, because I have like 4 or 5 back blades now. I have, you know, a couple brush hogs. I have just multiples of a lot of different equipment now, so I've got to start getting rid of some stuff. But like I said, to find a pre-emissions around 40 horse tractor with hydrostat, 4-wheel drive, the bucket, and everything else, is, you just don't do that very often anymore. This is they're getting harder to come by because everybody wants these. It's like the LBZ Duramaxes, everybody wants them. There's just not very many nice shape ones left, and so people legitimately fight over these. They pay top dollar for them. And you know, if I were to sell this, I'd probably be targeting an audience that is middle-aged. I would say, you know, younger people tend to buy the newer tractors, I would say, because you can get financing deals on them. They may not be as informed about the issues that newer emission style diesel engines can succumb to. I mean, you've got all sorts of stuff that can just go wrong electronically. This has no computer, no electronics really. It's mechanical. I mean, it's a nice machine, and there's a lot of people that appreciate that. These things probably are never going down in value. And by the way, my M6040 is pre-emissions too, so I mean, they're both very, very good tractors. Stout built tractors back when Kubota was, I mean, they still do. Kubota makes a great tractor, but everybody has to adhere to the emissions laws nowadays. But both of these machines are great. They're heavy duty. You can really put them to their paces and probably aren't going to break a whole lot. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough decision for me. They're both worth similar money, believe it or not. I mean, this with 200 hours is probably worth close to 20 grand. That one potentially could go for more, maybe 25 grand. But yeah, I don't know. Love to keep them both. We'll see what happens. I got this thing on its first job. It's actually really nice with that hydrostat. So a buddy of mine had built, or had a go-kart track built, and really needed some drainage put in because the guy that ran the dozer and shaped this up basically had a pond going down here, and this is all clay. So this was, when I first got here, this was completely underwater, like probably 6 inches underwater, and it was just nasty clay, waterlogged clay for about 8 inches under that. So I dug a ditch, got it all drained out, and we put in some drain tile and then backfilled with stone. But then I brought the Kubota over because it was just a lot easier to backfill with stone with this rather than run down, grab a bucket full with the excavator and bring it back up. So worked out good, and I brought it back with the rake on so that I could rake a bunch of these rocks off that you know, I don't know, this is clay. I don't know how this track's gonna work. It wasn't the best thought out track in my opinion, but hopefully it works out good for them. I mean, there's all these rocks in it, and yeah, you could roll it and knock most of them back in, but every time it rains, you're probably gonna have more rocks. At least when it rains hard, you're gonna have more rocks pop up. So I don't know, he'll see how it goes, but he's gonna need some sort of tractor or something to maintain this, because it's gonna take a lot of work to keep this track in decent enough shape where a little cart's gonna run around it without jarring your kidneys. So anyway, liking this thing, and I'm about done here, so I'm gonna get her loaded up and then we'll go see what else we can do. All right, I got the Befco mounted up on the 65 horse here, the M6040. I want to show you guys something though. Turn the PTO on, but that's what I noticed. See that pulley? It's all sorts of wobbly. I think it probably got run into a stump or something at one point. So I'm gonna shut that off, that PTO, see if I can't bang it back into shape with just a hammer or something. Kind of a quick fix. It might need replaced, but I just want to try this thing out. Alright, at the bottom I think it needs to go that way, so I can pound it with a hammer now. at all those chips. Yeah, there's a lot of chips. Heck yeah, though. I might have to keep that around. Well, I'd call the first chipper tryout a major success. This thing chips. Real nice. I don't know, I'm still, I can use this, I could keep this, I could run it behind the big Kubota and sell the small one. And for what I could sell the small one for, I mean, I could get a skid steer, I could do a lot of stuff with that money. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna hold on to it for now. I have no plans on selling it, but I'm just kind of thinking it's a really nice tractor, but I don't know that I need two tractors, and this thing's more practical for what I'm doing with food plots and logging and brush hogging 15-20 acres a year. So anyway, I'll probably call this a video. Really good deal on that Kubota though. This thing, to get this included with it, is awesome. This thing is a serious machine, and I'll probably have to go through it a little bit, but you just saw, I mean, it chips. I'll do an in-depth video on this chipper. We'll knock a whole tree down and limb it and put all the limbs through this chipper here. I'll make a whole video of it. So I don't know, follow along for that. Please leave a comment. It really helps the algorithm. I don't care if you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hey, you know, goodbye, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just leave a comment. So appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.